So calorie intake is the most important thing when it comes to changing your body composition, whether that's losing fat or building muscle. And if you can't accept that fact, you're going to find that either of those processes to be quite difficult, if not downright impossible. Now, having said that, calories alone aren't the only factor for optimizing your body composition. Where you get your calories from is the next step, and you'll probably know that your calories come from your macronutrients. For those of you who don't know, your macronutrients or macros are the fats, carbs, proteins that you consume in your diet, and to an extent, this also includes alcohol. Now, the ratio of these macronutrients within the bounds of your caloric intake can have an impact on your body composition. For instance, if you are trying to lose weight, well, how much of that weight loss is body fat versus muscle mass can be influenced by the ratio of these macronutrients, your starting body composition, and to a substantial extent, whether you engage in resistance training during this weight loss period. So here is my advice on how to calculate your macros while losing fat. However, before we get started, there are two things that you need to come to understand. One, when you are on a calorie deficit, you obviously won't be able to consume the same number of carbs, proteins, and fats as you would on a maintenance. Now, because of this, you're gonna have to decide how you want the ratio of your macros to fit into your allowed caloric budget, so to speak. And this is going to involve increasing one macronutrient at the expense of decreasing another. Number two, you need to understand that as an estimation, there are 4 calories per gram of carbohydrate and protein and 9 calories per gram of fat. Understanding these numbers will help you perform your calculations while also giving you some perspective on which macros you may want to prioritize. So the first thing you need to find out is what your calorie maintenance or your total daily energy expenditure is. And to do that, you can actually calculate it by going to my website and using the online calculator in the link below. Now, alternatively, you can also check out this video on figuring out your maintenance. For this example, let's start with a maintenance of 2,500 calories, and let's say we're losing half a pound of body weight per week, which means that we'll subtract 250 calories from our maintenance, which gives us 2,250 calories. This is the amount that we'll need to consume to see about half a pound of weight loss per week. So the macronutrient I always calculate first is protein, and this is for 2 reasons. One, I want to make sure that I maintain as much muscle mass as possible during a cut, and then 2, optimizing protein intake can be a contributing factor to a successful cut because it helps keep you full. And let's be honest, if you're trying to lose weight, staying satiated is a pretty big factor in preventing you from overeating. Current research doesn't have an exact or precise value of protein you should take during a cut, but there is a generally agreed range of 0.7 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, which studies suggest is optimal to retaining lean muscle mass. Now, where you as an individual falls on this range is going to largely depend on your preference. So to make the actual calculation, it's pretty simple. You just take your current body weight and multiply it by the lower and higher end of the range, and that will give you the amount of protein in grams that you can consume. Now, in terms of how many calories that is, you would simply just multiply the gram amount by 4, since there are 4 calories per gram of protein. So next we have fat calories, and we're gonna base this off of a percentage, specifically about 15 to 25%. Now, just like with protein, there isn't a singular value that is perfect, rather it's based off of a range, and that range will again vary between an individual's preference. Now, before I go any further, one quick thing I wanna mention is that while you want to lose fat, the macronutrient fat itself is not something that you should be afraid of or avoid. Fat is very important for our bodies for reasons such as absorbing nutrients, storing energy, and cell function. We need certain essential fats like omega-3 and omega-6 that our bodies can't synthesize on their own, and we have to consume those through our diet. The problem with fat is when we have too much of it, but at the same time, not enough of it is also detrimental. Okay, so to calculate how much fat you want in your diet during a cut, you would simply multiply your caloric intake by the upper and lower ranges recommended. This will give you the calorie amount you get from fat. Now, since there are 9 calories per gram of fat, you would then take these two values and divide both of them by 9, which will then give you the gram amount of fats that you would want to take. I personally try to keep my fat intake on the lower end simply because fats per gram have more calories and they don't particularly keep me as full. Additionally, I want to make sure that I have enough energy for the gym, and so I tend to prioritize carbs more, which brings me to the last calculation, carbohydrates. Now, since the rest of your calories will go into your carbs, we just need to find out how many calories are left over. To do that, you're going to add the calories that you calculated from protein and fats, and then subtract it from your calculated caloric deficit. This value will be the calories that you get for carbs. Now, for this example, let's just say we went with the highest amount of protein and the lowest amount of fat. Now, to find out the gram amount, all you need to do is divide these calories by 4, since, like with protein, there are 4 calories per gram of carbs. And that's pretty much it. Now, as you can see, there's really not much to calculate in your macros, and you're more than welcome to save this template if you think it might help you calculate your own macros. All you need to know when it comes to calculating your macros is your starting maintenance calories, the recommended ranges, and then how many calories per gram there is in each macronutrient. My only other suggestion is to keep your fat loss to a slower pace, such as half a pound to a pound per week. This makes weight loss a lot more sustainable while also allowing you to retain as much muscle mass as possible. That might not seem like a lot, but you should know that weight loss doesn't happen overnight. So over a consistent period of time, if you stick with your deficit, you will definitely see some improvements in your body composition. Anyway, I hope this video helped, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I will see you all next time.